delighted to be here with you in your absolutely stunning property. I'm sure our potential buyers would love to know what attracted you to this beautiful property. Can you tell us?
Well, it was very different when we first came here, but the countryside around is so amazing. I mean, it is just so extraordinary. The people are utterly delightful. And although I don't really believe in ley lines and things like that, the calmness of this property and the land around it just is special. And that's what we felt.
So, when you first saw the property, what state was it in?
Well, it wasn't a ruin at all. The roofs were fine, the walls were fine and all that, but nothing had been done to it. It had been lived in before by a Parisian artist and his wife, who was also an artist, and they would come down and just live, very, very, very rural, rustic way. So we had to put everything in. We had to bring, there was just a cold tap, so we had to bring proper water. There was just, one stroke lighting. We had to do all that. We had to do everything. But that was the joy for us, because we loved doing it, and it was, so creative, and it was just divine. So that's what it was like to start with.
So, how long did it take you to turn what was something very, very rustic into this beautiful property that you have today?
Well, of course, it was a rolling thing, but I suppose you might say it took about 6 years at the minimum, about 6 years, I think. We started with the little house and then came here. We made a few mistakes over there. And I must say, from when we first saw it, and it was so pristine and quiet and adorable, suddenly these builders were churning up the land. It felt as though I was raping it, rather. It was extraordinary. But, then gradually it became what it is now, which is, I think, divine. So, yeah, that was how long it took.
And do you have any funny stories or curious stories during your experience of renovating?
I mean, they may be too long to tell, but we definitely had one or two. We had the chap who was laying the tiles in the kitchen was a very nice chap, ostensibly, and he did a lovely job. But, when you lay tiles, you lay them first of all, you have to let them settle, and then you come back and grout and do all that. So he laid them all, and I think he did a bit of the grouting, and then you have to come back and sort of clean it all off. And then he disappeared. Nobody could get hold of him. And it turned out that he had not only disappeared from us and from our job, but from his wife as well, and had done a runner.
Wow.
So yes, that was one. But on the whole, we've had, actually mostly pretty good experience doing it.
I mean, the property is utterly delightful, Fiona. And me personally, I could choose lots of spots they absolutely adore. Do you have favourite spots in the property?
Well, I have favourite spots at different times of year. I mean, that's the other thing about this house. It's not just a summer house. It works all year round with the big fires and the underfloor heating and all that. So we come at all times of year. But we have lovely spots. The terrace outside our big bedroom, I always get up earlier than David. I go down and get coffee and things and take it out there in the morning, which is really lovely. In the evenings, the sun comes round and we often sit on the terrace of the little house, as we call it. And that's absolutely lovely. And during lockdown we were here, and I can remember just having the most lovely, we had oysters, cold dry white wine, lovely crispy bread on the terrace of the little house, and it was just delightful. But there are a lot of places, you know, around that one can settle.
And tell us about some of your fondest memories of this property.
Of course, there are fondest memories are usually with family and with friends, and we do have lots of family and friends, especially when the children, our boys, were little, because then they came with their friends. Now they're grown up, they don't come quite so often, but they bring their little children. But we have had fabulous times here, and in fact one of the most amazing was when my middle son got married here. And we had the most beautiful wedding. I was so excited because of styling the whole wedding. We had the most beautiful kind of Berber tent that went out over our terrace there, which was open all round, so you could see all round it. They got married on the lawn in 2 different places. We had a little caravan that came that was serving little crêpes for people. It was a 3-day wedding, and that was really fabulous. One of the things that is so wonderful about this area of France is that certainly in our bit it is so calm, so away from everything. My husband is a great bird watcher. There are birds around us that, you know, you just can listen to and watch for ages. But at the same time, we are also surrounded by fantastic restaurants, which I love. You know, great markets, of course. Well, that's, you know, probably all over France. But the combination of, you know, the countryside and the restaurants and, you know, the markets is just, I think, perfect France.